Start with the next vulnerability. That would be our information disclosure vulnerability. And information disclosure vulnerability is basically to expose some sensitive information from the server side, and sometimes it reveals some internal applications vulnerability also. So it all depends on the HTTP request parameter. So we're going to use our burp suite also over here. The burp. So over here, we're going to try to use our burp suite. Yeah, so this is now the proper fresh website we're gonna try over here, and we're gonna look for the vulnerabilities of information disclosure. But what exactly the information disclosure over here means? So over here, if I talk about the information disclosure vulnerability, is the leakage of sensitive information from the server side. For example, you can see information disclosure, also known as information leakage, is a when a website initially reveals some sensitive information to its user. Depending on the context, website may leak all kinds of information to a potential attacker, including what kind of data could be there, data about the users, such as username and financial information, sensitive commercial data, business data, technical details about the website and its infrastructure. So there are lots of vulnerabilities that can be exposed over here one by one. But the most important thing is the information leakage part. So what could be the vulnerabilities? Think you can see over here the leaking sensitive users of or business data are fairly obvious, but disclosing technical information can sometimes be serious because they can reveal some sensitive services which should not be revealed from the server side, and that could be lead us for information leakage vulnerability. Although some of this information will be limited use, it can be potentially starting from potentially exposing part. And the most common attacks over here that we can simply expose, this could be your robot.txt file. Some basic example of information disclosure are the following. See, you are revealing the names of hidden directories, their structure and their content by robot.txt file. If you see over here, if you are using google.com, if you write robots.txt, you will see allow and disallow directories. Sometimes it reveals some sensitive information from the server side also. So you have to look over here one by one. You can see providing access to the source code files by temporary backup. This is also important. Accessibility, mentioning database tables and common tabling errors. This is the type of information ingestion part. Unnecessary exposing high sensitive information such as the credit card and details. You can see hard coded API keys, IP addresses, database credentials on the source code, which can be also used for information disclosure part. Hinting at the existence of absence of resource such as your username and so why your substyle difference. So it's all about the behavior of the application that could be used for sensitive exposure part. So the most important thing over here is to find the sensitive information that could be make a critical things for the attacker point of view. So see this one, how to information disclosure vulnerability arise. What could be the what are the causes we can talk about? As a company based and enterprise based, there should be a proper security that none of the information should be leaked that could be used by the attackers to gain information about the internal parts. For example, you can see some of the vulnerabilities like failure to remove internal content of public content. Internal information to the public information permitted. For example, developers comment in markup by sometimes visible to user in the production environment. The developing environment they are doing. Some information can be leaked in the backend of the source. Insecure configuration of the website and related technology. For example, failing to display debugging and diagnostic features that can sometimes provide attackers to useful tools that help to obtain sensitive information. Debugging means the testing environment. Flow design and behavior of the application. Flow the application functionality over here. For example, if the website returns the distinct response when the different error states, that could be also a vulnerability of enumerate sensitive data for validating the user. So we're gonna try to use some information part which can be used for attacker point of view. So you can see over here, information disclosure vulnerability have can both a direct and indirect impact depending on the purpose of the website and therefore what information an attacker is able to obtain. So let's come to the lab point and let's look what could be the vulnerabilities over here. This is the lab over here. Okay, so we have 5 challenges over here. Information disclosure and error messages. How to find and exploit information disclosure vulnerabilities. So either you can try the further type, how to test if for information disclosure vulnerability. Generally, they use the further, or you can use the burp scanner. Burp scanner is just like you do active crawl and audit part. This is an active scanner. You will not see the scanner word over here. You can all can see crawl and audit. For example, you can see the word fuzzing. Fuzzing is basically to test the environment part using burp suite engagement tools. Engagement tools is basically used to make POCs. So you can see over here one by one what can be used over there. And they have given some labs, error messages, development components, debugging data, user account page, backup files. The first vulnerability you can see is your information disclosure in error messages. So, but what exactly the error messages means over here? So the first topic is our error messages. One of the most common cause of this information is verbose error messages. Verbose means to expose or simply highlight from the client side. As a general rule, you should pay close attention to all error messages you encounter during auditing part. Means we have to check all the application errors which came from a server side, which can be used for sometimes reveal some sensitive information, such like your explanation, user manipulation. The content of the error message can reveal information about what input of the data is been exploited by a given parameter. This can also help to narrow down your attack by identifying exploitable parameters. It may even just prevent you from wasting time to try to inject payload and simply work on it. So our major part over here to extract, we have to find some information from an error form. So we're gonna try to use this attack. Let's try to copy this one again over here. So this lab verbose error message reveals information about vulnerable version of the third-party framework. Let's try this one. Let's try to access. So what we have over here, we have a normal website, which is like a shopping website, and we can see some categories over here defined. And the major part, we can see these are some vim files. Let's try with the robot home security bird, which is our Wally. So let's see. What I can see is only the content type which is given over here. These are the normal content. So what exactly we have to do? See over here on the solution part. With the verb running open source product page, in the verb, go to the proxy HTTP and notice that get request product page contain a product ID number and send to the product ID repeater. Note down your product ID might be different depending on the product page you have written. So what they are saying in the above is they change the value to the product ID parameters for non-integer data. Non-integer data means string parameter, such as string. You can say a word like mine or let's see over here what will happen. So we have some request captures in the proxy, an HTTP request. See this one. So I can see some product is equal to ID. See, which is we have done with the history part. So let's try to check this one. So I'm going to use repeater. We're going to search for information disclosure. So this is an integer value which is ID is equal to 2. So what I'm going to do over here, I'm going to write my name, Lucifer. So what exactly ID? The ID parameter is taking the integer value, but over here the Lucifer word is the string value. So what I can do, if I want to see if I can get any sensitive information in the error form, and I can see I get some error forms which is 500. 500 indicates server side error. You can see internal server errors, Java language number format exception for input string, which is our Lucifer. But I can see some internal vulnerabilities over here one by one. Let's go down and I can see the IP, the thing which I can see here is Apache strut. What is exactly the Apache strut is over here? Now this time this thing is known as banner grabbing part, where you have to find the services and their version which is running in the backend. Remember one thing, if you find some sensitive information from any of the services from the client side, look for the exact vulnerability. And first thing which I can see, Apache strut. But remember one thing, read about the Apache strut. What exactly is the function of this? Apache Strut is an open source web application framework for developing Java EE web application. It is used for extend the Java serverless API to encourage developers to adopt a model or a view control. Okay, so this is the normal Apache server. So let's see, let's download the name and we can download exploit over here. So in the exploit DB, I can see the first one, the exploit DB website. So in exploit DB, I can see the source code which is saying remote code execution. See this one. And this is a normal Python file. Most of the real-time banner grabbing part will comes in the web server part, which we have to get information. And see this one. Where is it? Yes. Submit the solution. It was the version number that you have. Sometimes some sensitive information will be occurred in the form of error from the internal server side. Let's have a look on a different one now. Let's try, this was a basic one. Let's try with where is it? Let's try with the debugging page. Debugging data. Debugging data. So it was before it was error message, then it was debugging data. So what exactly the debugging data means? The fuzzing part, the development part which we have to use the code to identify. For debugging purpose, many websites generate custom error messages and logs that contains large amount of information. Yep. And application behavior, the functionality we are talking about. While this information is useful during the development, it is also extremely useful to an attacker, and if it leaks in production environment also. Debugging messages can sometimes contain vital information for developing an attack type. What kind of information do we look for? Values of session keys, the session tokens we can talk. Host name and credentials of the backend component, file and directory names and servers. Key used to encrypt the data transmitted. Key used to encrypt. It means the encryption public key we can talk about. Debugging information may sometimes be logged in a separate file. If an attacker is able to gain access to this file, it can be served as usefully reference. So let's try to get information like that. So we have this lab contains a debug page that discloses sensitive information about the application. To solve this lab, submit the secret key environment variable. Now we need to find the secret information. Over here, what they are saying with the burp script running browser network. Let's go over here. Go to the target sitemap tab, right click on the top level of the entry, select engagement tool, find comment. Notice that the home page contains an HTML comment that contains a link called debug CGI bin php.info. In this sitemap, right click on the CGI bin and select the send to repeater. In burp repeater, send the request to the retrieve the file. Note that it reveals some various debugging information, like your secret key environment variable. See this one. Submit the solution is a different thing. Let's go to the view part. Let's go over here also. So we can see this is a normal page that we find. Our major objective is to see the source code of the file. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to the sitemap. The sitemap of this test post trigger, it will be like this one, I guess, because it contains some sensitive information. Or you can go post trigger. So you see these are web security academies over here. So this is 18 or what? Let's see. This challenge number is 81. See, this is 81. So 81 is over there. Right click, engagement tool, find comment, and we're gonna look for debugging part. So we're gonna go for search for debug. We can see this one. See, we have some source code data. SVG 4 plugin, SVG version, Adobe illustration version. You see some sensitive information for comment out. Comment out, which is given on the source code. Sometimes developers forget to release those things. And you can see all the source code one by one. So let's try to send this one to the repeater. So, send to repeater. Repeater, so let's try to execute. Okay, yes, so I have to change this one also. So let's try. It was a information disclosure vulnerability. It was bad because over here. Okay, so I guess this was one. It was 200. So we need to find the secret key over here. I guess I'm doing something wrong. I guess this is a php.work file. These are two. Should have done this one. Yep. H reference from the PHP file. So what was this? Okay, so debugging time the request to retrieve the files. Notice that retrieving some setting debugging function includes sequence of key environment variables. Okay, so in the sitemap, right click on the entry for feature link, select send to repeater. We have already done the bug repeater and the request to retrieve the file. Notice it will be giving some basic debugging information, including the speed of debugging. But we didn't find any secret information. We are doing the same thing. But we didn't find any sensitive information like this. Okay, so product ID is over here. Trying to use it. Okay. Did you find any secret key? No. Should we give us some sensitive information? Okay, no issue. We can try it again over here. Let's try with this one. In the target state 581. It was on the find comment. Let's use debug over here. So it's completed. Okay, over here we can get the search request. Repeater. Okay, there is, we should get a secret key information over here, but something is wrong over here. Okay, so we can try to look this vulnerabilities over here one by one. Let me try with other techniques. Yes, these were the debug words, but this is not working over here. That's reference to the info in php.info, which should contain the some information. But over here, I'm not getting any error. Some sense. Okay, this is okay. See this one. What I was doing wrong. See, this was a file path that we have to visit. Okay, so we have to copy this one. We have to copy this path, and we have to place this in over here. Then you will see some sensitive information. Sorry, I was yeah. So you can search for secret keys, and I can see my secret key over here. Yes, please. You can simply see some information like remote host, the remote host or the target ID server protocol 1.1. Because see, we have to specify the path directly, which is over there. This was the file path that was comment out to fetch the file. So sometimes developers put some sensitive information in the backend process and they forget those files. So let's try over here. So this was yeah, submit the solution. The proper information that we can look for is over in the backend process. That could be worked over there one by one. So what are the other vulnerabilities over here also? Let's see one more try. Let's try to source code disclosure by backup files. Source code disclosure on the backup files, what we can do over there? Or backup files vulnerability. Let's see this one. Okay, what exactly the source code disclosure backup files over here? Let's see. Obtaining source code access makes it much easier for an attacker to understand the application behavior. Yes. First of all, if we have the source code, we can simply understand the mechanism, how the application is working over there. And construct high severity attacks. Sensitive data is sometimes even hard coded. Yep. Sometimes hard coded within the source code. Typically, example of this include API keys and credentials for accessing backend components. If you can identify that particular open source technology is being used, this provides easy access to the limited amount of source code. Occasionally, it is even possible to cause the website to expose its own source code. Yep, this is the important part. If you get the source code, you can understand it will be a white box testing part, but still we are doing the black box. When mapping outside a website, you might find out that some of the source code files are referred explicitly. Unfortunately, requesting them does not eventually reveal the code itself. When a server handles files with a particular extension, such as a .php, it is typically execute the code rather than simply sending it to the client text. Simply, it's going to run the code part over there, but nothing else. In some situation, you can trick a website in retaining the contents of the file instead. Yes, कभी-कभार तो ऐसा हो जाए तो बढ़िया है. For example, text editor often generates temporary backup files while the originally file has been edited. These temporary files are usually indicated in some way, such as you're appending a title or to the file or adding a different extension. See this one, let's try with the source code. This lab leaks its source code by backup files in a hidden directory. To solve this lab, see. Let's try this. Browse to robo.txt and notice that it reveals the existence of the backup directory. Browse to the backup directory, find out the product template.back file. Alternatively, right click on the lab in the sitemap and go to the engagement to discover content. Then launch a content discovery session to discover the backup directory and its content. Browse the backup file product template.backward to access the source code. In the source code, notice that the connection builder contains a hard-coded password for the Postgres database. See, the content database is which will be used to identify the files. See, if I simply do robo.txt file, I'll see the backup file over here. So what I can do, I can write the backup file. You can see template back dot back. This is the actual source code, and over here you will see the source code of the .back file can be the password over here. All we need is a source code back file. .back files are the source code of the file. We can either use many other techniques one by one. See this one. Let's try a different one right now. Let's try with the Let's try with authentication bypass or information disclosure. In secure configuration account, you can see user account page, developer components, insecure configuration, version control. This was is interconnected. This lab administrator interface is an authentication bypass vulnerability. Authentication bypass. It's your broken authentication. To bypass vulnerabilities by it's impractical to exploit without knowledge of the custom HTTP header used by the front end. HTTP header is like that host referer X forwarded to solve the labs, obtain the header names, and then use it to bypass the lab authentication, access the admin interface, and detail Carlos account. Admin interface should not be accessible by the local client because it should be accessible by the internal client server. So this might be challenging, but see this one. Normal, this is not a different thing. In the browser repeater browse to get admin, the response disclose the admin panel is not accessible if you log to the administrator. It refers to the local IP. So think about this. An admin portal can be logged in by the local host environment only. So you already have done the host header injection attack. So I will say try to solve these two vulnerabilities over here. Information disclosure by version control history, or you can see over here, suddenly the response noted that the X term customer is a header containing your IP address. X term X custom IP authorization. Send the request again, but this time use the trace method. Trace method is basically used to simply trace out the packet request. Automatically append to request. This is used to determine whether the request came from localhost or not. Go to your proxy option to scroll down and match and replace section. Add click, leave the match condition blank, and replace it with the custom field. Localhost 2701 proxy will add its header to every request. So I will say try to use this one, try to solve this one attack by your own. There are many vulnerabilities that you can try over here.